Fire.
Deprivation of God.
Yes.
Dispense from God.
So we say hellfire and damnation.
Yeah.
Damnation, the pain of damnation is because you're turned away from the infinite good. And that's the pain of loss. You cannot have God. And conversion to finite creatures causes the pain of sense. In justice, the demons merited sense pains, so they're punished by a real sensible fire. Now, they don't have senses. So this fire is able to burn spirits somehow. It's a fire that burns not only bodies, but it burns spirits to punish them, because they merit sense punishment because they turn to a creature, they turn to themselves. They turn to themselves, so they need to be punished by creatures. The hellfire is the punishment that punishes them. So it's a punishment that can make spirits suffer. So it's not a fire necessarily like our fire. But, it is like our fire in that it's hot, and that the souls there with sense elements. Of course, they don't have bodies yet either. The damned don't have their bodies there, so they don't have their senses with them, but they are suffering by that fire sensible pain. Now, the souls can suffer sensible pain because they're made to have senses, and they know, the pain's in the soul anyway. It's in the spiritual part as well as in the physical part, and so they can suffer that. But how the angels suffer that, who never had any senses and are not ordained to senses, that's a mystery. But they do suffer because they merit sense pain, sense punishment, because they turn to creatures. They turn to themselves rather than God. And there's an order among the demons. The natural order among the demons requires authority among them. And so they're united by hatred of men and by God's justice. They hate God's justice. And the one who presides in evil has the greater unhappiness, so it's not a good thing to be the superior down in hell, because then you're more unhappy than the others, but they do that. And they do have speech when they deceive others. Did I speak about the angel's speech? Well, we didn't speak about the angel's speech.
Is that Father?
The language of the angels. We'll get to that.
It's mental, wouldn't it?
What?
It'd be mental, it couldn't be words.
But we'll get to that. But the angels do deceive each other. The demons deceive each other, not the angels. So that's it. Now the good angels, of course, they merited heaven. They merited heaven by their act of obedience and submission to God. The amount of grace that the angels had was proportionate to their nature. So some angels were ordained to greater grace than other angels. So St. Thomas is right. Every angel had a different amount of grace, whereas the ones that say, well, they're all in the same type of nature in each choir, well, then all the angels in that choir had the same amount of grace. But some were ordained of greater grace than others. And the angels act with all their power, so those with more grace merited greater glory. And so they have a greater glory in heaven. And many more angels remain good than sin, because sin is against the nature of the angels. So the scripture says a third. So that means 2/3 would have been faithful. And some angels fell from every choir, but the majority fell from the lower choirs, which would be the angels and the archangels would be the lower choirs. So that's where the majority would have fallen from. The ones that are closer to earth, the ones that are closer to God, fewer of them fell. This is what the theologians teach. And so that means there's many more low places available in heaven, because we're supposed to take, the theory is that we take the places that were lost by the angels. And so there's a lot more low places in heaven than high places, and we can see that very few men are trying to seek a high place in heaven. Very few people are trying to become holy and become saints and get a high place there in heaven. So it makes sense that most of them, if they make it to heaven, they're going to be down at the bottom of the pile. They'll still be happy, but they'll be in low places. We have the great saints in the high places, of course, taking greater places. But in most men, the grace of their baptism develops very little, and that's really their peak when they're baptized. That's as holy as they get, and then they maybe attain a state of grace before they die and then they get saved. So the enlightenment of the angels receive their knowledge from God. The higher angels are more like God and know things in fewer and more universal concepts than the lower angels. The lower angels need more ideas than the higher angels. So a higher angel can enlighten a lower angel. They propose the concept to the lower angel in the way that he can understand it. So they explain things to the lower God. God explains things to the higher angels, and the higher angels explain to the lower angels. And they can show them some truth they didn't know before, or they can strengthen their intellect so they understand something else more perfectly. And one angel cannot move the will of another angel, of course. They cannot do that, but they have powers of persuasion, and they can persuade the others. Now, an inferior angel cannot enlighten a superior angel, so that's different than on earth. So on earth, a superior could be enlightened about something else by an inferior. Somebody who's inferior to him, you're the boss, and then somebody else comes and explains something to you about something you didn't know, and that can happen. But the angels, that cannot happen. The higher angels cannot learn from the lower angels. Those closer to God are more enlightened and can freely decide to enlighten the lower ones. But the higher angels have a greater participation in God's goodness, and so they want to share that goodness with the other angels, so they willingly share what they know and share their knowledge, but they're limited by the capacity of the lower angel. The lower angel can only understand so much and so clearly, and so they can't give them the same glory that they have. They can't raise them up to the level they're at. Now, St. Angel says that the angels have their own proper language. They have a language that they speak in. They're pure spirits. They have a society, and so they need a communication of ideas. They need speech. We read in the book of Jude, St. Michael was disputing with the devil. And St. Paul mentions in Corinthians, if I speak with the tongues of angels, so indicating that angels do have a language and speech. And the speaker directs his concept to the hearer by willing it. So just by his will, he wants somebody to know something, and so there's no eavesdropping, because if I don't will him to know it, well, I don't direct my idea to him. So I just direct it to the one I want to hear, and so we can have a private conversation in heaven. And every bit of speech does not enlighten others, so the lower angels can speak to the higher angels. They can speak to them and do that. But their speech is intellectual operation. It's not affected by space or by time. It's just impose my idea, I send it to you, and then it's imposed in your mind, and you have that idea from me. So that's the idea of how it works. And they also speak to God, of course. They pray to Him, and they offer our prayers to God there. Or maybe they offer them to the Blessed Mother, and then she offers them to God. But anyway, they get offered to God. And of course, God knows all these things. There's no revelation to Him. If we pray, well, God already knows that. But it's for His honor and glory, for His praise, that we do ask Him. We do pray to Him. And the angels have power over the demons and rule the demons. That's why we don't have to be afraid of the demons, because they're all ruled by the angels. And even a lower angel can rule a higher demon, because supernatural grace gives him more power over the natural power of the devil. Power of grace is greater, so an inferior angel can preside over a greater demon. And they can act on the body, so they can kill us. They can have a universal power to act on bodies. They can move things. An angel changes matter by moving material agents as a superior cause. Like I said, it's thought that they govern the universe, so they push the planets around, make sure they stay in their orbits, and all these things that the angels do. They can work on that, and they can work upon men, and they enlighten us by proposing phantasms to us. They can work on the imagination. They can't send us an idea directly into our mind. Only God could do that. But they can work on the imagination, but they cannot change our will. And they can reveal things in dreams, like St. Joseph had many things revealed in dreams, and others do. But we cannot imagine anything that's not perceived previously by our senses. So if we haven't got it already in our mind somehow, well, we cannot imagine it. We don't imagine these things. And so a man born blind, well, they can't make him imagine a rainbow. They can put colors in his mind because he doesn't know what a color is, really. He's never seen color. But they can enlighten intellect, and they can do it to explain dreams. That's what Joseph was enlightened to explain dreams of other people. And they can change man's senses. So, for example, Lot, the perverts in Sodom, the angels hid the door. They wanted to get in the house to attack the angels because they thought they were beautiful young men, and the angels hid the door so they couldn't find the door of the house. So they can do things like that. And the prophet Eliseus was not recognized. They changed his appearance, so he wasn't recognized. And
or if you know, very holy people, if you read about them by location, was that their angel that took the body, or is that them?
well, that's them, I think.
The actual holy person?
But by location, I think that's a property that God gives to certain saints, that they can be in more than one place. Now they can't be in more than one place at a time physically with their body, so there has to be the appearance of their body in one place, and your body can only be physically, with your height and weight and everything, can only be in one place. So how bilocation works, that's well, you certainly appear to be in another place, and people think you're there physically. So it's probably like a spirit, yes, but it's not an angel. It is properly
Was
used.
their guardian angel?
No, I think it's properly the person. Yeah, it's there. At least with their mind and their soul. Yeah. So they say bilocation, you're in two places at once. I don't know if anybody did trilocation, but just bilocation. Yeah. So yeah, that's. But it is the person. I don't think it's his angel.
And can the demons, do they put like thoughts or a dream? How would you know?
Yes, demons can do that too. Yes, that's why Saint Ignatius has the discernment of spirits. Which spirit is pushing me? We have to see which one is moving us and which one is around right now, the good spirit or the evil spirit, because they can both be around us. The evil spirit only if God permits it, and the temptations from the evil spirit.
And how would you know if it was God or the guardian angel?
Well, that's why you have to discern. It takes discernment, and sometimes we can't tell in our own case. But if everybody's really angry and jumping at everybody's throats and all that, and then we say, well, the devil's probably around. And if everybody's sad and depressed, well, he's eternally sad. He takes his sadness wherever he goes. And so if we become sad, well, we say the devil's around, where the good spirit will fill us with joy and peace. Well, these things come. So if the soul is all troubled, but then the evil spirit's around. But the discernment of spirits is something that's important, and it's not that easy for an amateur. Until you get experience with the spiritual world, then like even Our Lady was troubled when Angel Gabriel came, and she would have been experienced with the spiritual world. So she was troubled more by what he said, but she was in big trouble when he came. So. But the discernment of spirits, St. Ignatius explains that in the spiritual exercises. But it would be an art, and that's why they say we need a skilled spiritual director, and especially people that gets advanced in holiness need to have a skilled spiritual director. And Saint Teresa said it's better if they're knowledgeable than that they're holy. She'd rather have a knowledgeable director than a holy director, because the holy director, she had a lot of experience with directors and they weren't very good. So he said the holy ones weren't as good as the knowledgeable ones. So, But people who are advanced in holiness, like St. Teresa well, they need some kind of a director to help them discern the spirits, because otherwise, they say that the one who guides himself has a fool for a guide. So especially when you start getting holy, you have to, if that ever happens, if you ever start getting holy, then you should try to get a spiritual director. So that's what we need. Okay, so anyway, so the missions of the angels. So primarily they're ministers of God, we saw that. Secondarily, they serve men. And some authorities say that all the angels have external missions. Others, that only the 5 lower choirs do, so the cherubim and seraphim don't. And others that only the 5 cherubim do, 5 lower choirs do, suffer for special missions. So maybe a special mission, they might send a higher angel. An angel, archangel means messenger. Virtues and powers implies some sort of act. Principalities means he governs others. So these all suppose external actions. And so these 5 choirs have missions. That's not the case with thrones and cherubim and seraphim. So we don't know. So all the opinions are valid. But some angels are deputed to guard men, to be guardian angels, and that's Dei Fide. So we have the Feast of the Holy Guardian Angels, October 2nd. And the theory is that each man from birth has a guardian angel. And all men are called to heaven, thus even the sinners and infidels have angels. So that's one opinion. That's the common opinion. But it's certain that each of the faithful has his own guardian angel. So maybe it could be wrong to say that some Mohammed has a guardian angel, but it's very possible that he has a guardian angel too. And the common opinion is that he does have that. And the common opinion is also that each nation, community, society, and diocese has its own guardian angel. So there's an angel of Cork. Now we know some of these angels have appeared at different times. So the angel of Portugal came to the children of Fatima. He says, I'm the angel of Portugal. He's the guardian angel of Portugal. And he was also a Eucharistic minister. But then there's the angel of Jerusalem. Wanted God to destroy Jerusalem because the people in Jerusalem were so wicked. And so he asked God to destroy the angel of Jerusalem. And there's been, I can't remember exactly, but there were 2 angels disputing, fighting with each other, because one was the guardian of one nation, like one would be the guardian of the French and one of the English or something. So they have to be fighting with each other because he wants to benefit for the French and he wants to benefit for the English, or maybe the guardian angel of Ireland is always fighting with the guardian angel of England. I don't know. But so they dispute because until God makes his will known to them, well, they don't know. We said they don't know the contingent future. So and he's responsible for these people, and he's responsible for these people. And if there's a dispute, you got to be looking out for their own mob. So they can have that too. And it's thought that public persons, that different offices, have a guardian angel. So the prime minister, there'd be an angel for the prime minister, and he'd have 2 angels, his own guardian angel and then an angel for the prime minister. And the bishop of the diocese would have another angel, and then some say priests have another angel. They do that. So public persons would have an extra angel to help them do their duty. Now, Saint Gabriel is the guardian angel of the Blessed Virgin Mary. So that's what is thought. Saint Michael is the protector and guardian of the church. And before that, he was the protector of the synagogue and the Jews. He was the prince of the Jews and protector of the synagogue. We said the angel of Jerusalem, the angel of Portugal. And the angels in heaven see the face of God. That's what our Lord said. Their angels don't offend these little ones because their angels in heaven see my Father's face. And they guide both our body and our soul. That's what the guardian angels do. They take care of our body and try to protect us from evil. And they guard our soul. That's what St. Raphael did for Tobias. So he guarded both his body and his soul. And so we have a duty to have reverence, trust, and devotion towards our guardian angel. And St. Bernard says our guardian angel should be our best friend. And we should not dare to commit a sin in front of our angel that we wouldn't do in front of somebody else, but there we are, we do it in front of our own guardian angel. I don't know how long we're going here, but with the permission of God, the demons tempt us to sin. And that's de fide as well, that the demons tempt us to sin, but they need the permission of God. They can only tempt us as far as God allows them to tempt us. So temptation has two purposes. It's got a good purpose. It helps us to grow in virtue by overcoming the temptation. Even the devil even taught. Who's the most famous person the devil tempted?
Jesus.
Christ. Very good. Yes. So even Christ was tempted by the devil, and God allowed him to even tempt our Lord. So we can't say, well, he's not going to allow him to tempt me because he allowed him to tempt our Lord. So by overcoming the temptation, we grow in virtue, but the temptation can also push us into sin. Now we know not all temptations come from the devil. We got our evil will, our bad nature, the flesh, and the world to tempt us, as well as the devils. But temptation has a good end and a bad end. Good if we overcome it, bad if we succumb to it and are defeated by it. And so we're church militant. That's why we have to have temptations. We have to fight against the temptations. Now the devils tempt out of hatred of God and of man. They hate God and himself, and they hate men who are in the image of God. And they tempt us through external agents and by moving our imagination. And we can say the devil is the cause of original sin, and therefore all sin flows from original sin, so therefore he's the cause of all sin indirectly. So he needs permission from God to leave hell and tempt men. We see that he tempted Eve, he tempted David, he tempted Judas, Ananias and Christ. They were all tempted by the devil. And St. Augustine says that day and night he tempts, trying to kill our souls. Then there's possession, when the devil occupies the body internally. He comes into the body and makes his dwelling in our body. And that's possession. Possession does not necessarily imply that you're guilty of something. So you might not be guilty. It doesn't necessarily imply impenitence, but often people who are possessed are guilty of opening themselves up to the devil by playing with the devil, like using Ouija boards or tarot cards, or getting into these different types of Satanism, and they open themselves up to the devil. And there were a lot of people possessed at the time of our Lord. So possession is not uncommon. He was casting out devils out of people, and some of his disciples were casting out devils. And so the exorcism is to cast out a devil. Cast out a devil, that's called exorcism. And there's an order, one of the minor orders is the order of exorcist, where you're given the cleric is given the book of exorcisms and the power to cast out devils. Then there's obsession. That's when the devil's around physically harassing you. And that's what was happening often to St. John Vianney. The devil was obsessing. He was around him, physically harassing him, wrestling with him, and Jacob wrestled with the angel. Well, he wrestled with an angel. So the devil can work on our nervous system and other bodily parts. So he pushes stress, and he pushes drugs and stress and these things today, for example. And really we can say that mortal sin is already the beginning of possession. If we fall into mortal sin, we put ourselves under the power of the devil. So we have to combat the devil by vigilance and prayer. St. Peter says, watch and pray, because your devil goes about like a roaring lion seeking who he can devour. By confession and communion frequently, by devotion to the Blessed Virgin Mary, by fasting and other penances, by keeping busy. These are all ways we combat the devil. So angels and devils. Any questions on angels or devils? So what was the question we didn't answer? We said we'd get to it. What question?
How angels communicate.
Or we say we have some kind of speech, yes, okay, yeah. So they have some kind of speech.
When temptation or sin, temptation by the devil, the flesh and the world, I thought they were all from the devil, as in like that all temptation came from the devil, even though it's kind of just divided up into the devil, the flesh and the world.
No, well, like we said, indirectly he causes all sin because he caused original sin from which they all flow. But you know, the world tempts us with its. These were the temptations the devil gave to our Lord. I'll give you all the riches and the kingdoms of the world to seek the things of the world. And you know, this is what the advertisers they work for the devil. You know, they tempt us to want the things of the world, we want things that we don't need, But no, they're not from the devil directly. And then we've got all the evil people persuading others to be evil. They encourage the young people to be impure. They encourage the young people to get on drugs and all this. But that's other people doing that usually. It's not the devil doing it directly. So yeah, no, all temptation doesn't come from the devil. And then we have our own, because of original sin, we got the rebellion in our flesh. See, so those temptations come from us. Temptation to pride, temptation to gluttony, lust, these things, anger, that's one of our passions, that's inordinate passion to anger, and then that leads to hatred and ill will, and so these temptations come from us because of original sin. The remnants of original sin in our soul that baptism doesn't take away. So baptism doesn't restore us to the state of innocence. It takes away the guilt of the sin. We're no longer going to be punished for it, but some of the effects of the sin remain in our soul to cause us wickedness. All right, let's pray.